The topic is a profile on the governor of Abia State, Governor OKalu3. And of course, Governor Kalu, before we had our final break, we promised that we would give you the last part of this show to give you an opportunity to talk about your visit to Nashville, because we understand that you've been in Nashville for a couple of days now, and you've had an opportunity to move around and deal with some of the officials and et cetera. And so why don't you sort of give us a report in terms of the kind of thing that you'll probably take back to Abia State in reference to who we are here in Tennessee and how we're willing to cooperate and work with you. If you could we'll give you that opportunity to do that now.
Well, I see a lot of prospects in what we are coming about. Some meetings have been scheduled which due to flight problems and what is happening. I have meeting in the governor's office and the mayor's office, which I will schedule next time when I'm here, sometime in the future. But we are signing agreements on health. Health is a very essential issue in my mind. Some of the local people here handling it, Dr. Mado have briefed me on what we are going to sign. We have looked at the documents with the various counties and the government, and we are going to have an excellent relationship with the state of Tennessee. And I believe with what we are planning, there are going to be exchange health program, both education and cultural program between our states and this. And eventually, when I become president, I also pray that one day you will have a president from here when I'm president, so we can be able to work together. So I believe that there were a lot of things that we'll do together in terms of finances and advices and all the rest of them. That's a program that will be a sister state to sister state program to enhance the two economy. And I believe these are in future, near future. These are what we are going to be discussed with the bureaucrats in the government department and all the rest of them. I'll send my officials to come back and discuss with them and see where and means we can work together. The health is what is on the ground now, which we'll sign the agreement before we leave. And the program will start, an exchange program between Abia State and the state of Tennessee and their counties.
Now, you know, there's been some a real conscious effort on the part of the United States and some countries in Western Europe to try to deal with some of the real economic problems in Africa in general. And I think that there was an organization that Mr. Bush, an act that Mr. Bush passed dealing with African development and et cetera. And I think you're on record in terms of favoring such an effort on the part of the United States. Why don't you give us some...
oh, you must be talking about AGOA. And,
AGOA.
Yeah, it's a Congress law made by the it's a law made by the Congress and passed. And I believe that both President Clinton and Mr. Bush were all committed to those programs, and I respect these two leaders because of their commitment towards, and finally Mr. Bush signed into law, and I also need to thank the Congress. This AGOA, if properly managed, will enhance the economic development of my state. My state is going to be center for AGOA because there are clusters that are going to be a springboard towards what AGOA is going to be in my state. So I believe that will be a job creation for the people if the policies are well handled.
And so even within the context of the whole international scene, you believe that, and I think you're on record as saying that this program will do quite a number of things for your country specifically, but also for all of Africa.
That's correct. And the program, I think, elapses on 2015, and I will only appeal to the Congress to see the extension. If I'm correct on my dates, the Congress should initiate a new bill to see that they pass this new bill to make sure that it's extended, to give people opportunity of continuing with it. It's going to help all developing countries in the sub-region of Africa.
And so is there, in terms of the resources that you have, I mean, in Nigeria, do you find that you have the adequate access to all of those resources, oil and other resources that you have, or do you find that your people specifically have been sort of excluded from having access to resources like that, the oil and other elements?
I think there's a lot, in the central government, there's a lot of corruption there. And the common people have not got the real access to their resources. And this is why people like me want to be governor, I would want to be president, to make a change and make policies that will initiate people to be involved in managing their resources. And it is important for people of Nigeria to manage their resources. The greatest problem, the impediment of development is corruption. And this is what we will form partnership with countries like United States, Canada, and Britain, and Germany and France to be able to get things right, because it is important to allow people to use what is taxpayers' money for taxpayers, and not family, cabals of families who are close to government to be using this money for their own good.
You know, that's a strange thing, and that's what we always point out is that Africa is such a rich nation in terms, continent in terms of the wealth and et cetera, but yet and still we find that so many nations in Africa have suffered tremendously, and we've got tremendous problems. And that's why we look at individuals like yourself and others who are waging, it seems to us sometimes to be almost insurmountable odds against trying to bring the kind of order and the kind of centralism that you're talking about. I think that your nation has a federal form of government, but each state, from what I understand, does not have the authority to do certain things. And so is that a correct assessment in terms of that?
That's correct, James. Let me tell you, in every century or every generation, they have men or women that make that generation. In the 60s, there was Kennedy. In the 90s, there was Clinton. In the 20s, 2005, 2000, there was Bush. So you can see, the greatest problem of our country is that people who are supposed to be out of this generation want to stay. They want to die in office, which is wrong. These people will remember that in every continent, there's always, God has made it that there be men of their generation who will pilot the affairs of that generation. So this is my generation. And I want to help people of my generation and give them new direction, new list of life, new resource, new access to new capital, new access to new development, new access to good water, new access to health care, new access to educational care, new access to give the children what's supposed to be for theirs. But these people don't think that way. You cannot work for your generation and work for another generation. It's difficult.
And so you think that the progress that you've been able to demonstrate in the state that you are now the governor of, you're about ready to take that same kind of program and that same kind of policy nationally, and you want to cooperate with other African nations in order to help you do so, and to also work with Western European nations, et cetera.
That's absolutely what it is. This game is a game of teamwork. It's not a game you can play alone. It's a game you have to be friendly with the US, you have to be friendly with Australia, to be friendly with United Kingdom, Germany, France. And this is a game that you have to be a team player and listen. And you'll be able to move forward. As long as you are playing a solo game, to your pocket, you say another thing in the television, you do another thing inside your room, we are not going to make progress.
But as long as you can be up board, out front, and honest in reference to you're dealing with the people, you think the people will support you in reference to this?
You'll be on board, and there'll be development. And corruption will go down, and people will have access to their resources.
Okay, Governor, we've got 47 seconds before we end the show for today, and I just want to thank you for coming by and giving us that small glimpse of some of the issues that you have to deal with in Nigeria. And perhaps over the last 30 seconds, let us have you make a final remark to the people of the state of Tennessee.
Well, not only to people of state of Tennessee, this is general to all Americans and all Western Europeans. I would like to see the Congress initiate hearing on Nigeria to help Nigerian people, on people who want to extend their tenure in office, people who want to increase corruption, people who want to do this. They should come out clearly and see what they can do.
Very good. And of course, Governor, let me thank you over the last second that we have, and let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.